Hey everybody, it's Howard from AVtransfers UK. Just a little show and tell for today. As you know or may not know, I'm a bit of a Betamaxaholic. I'm not a purist, but I do like Betamax. And this little puppy has just landed on the water, so to speak, from Japan. It is the Sony EDV 9000 NTSC Beta HIFI extended definition. Now I'm not too sure what the difference is between extended definition beta and high band beta. Is there a difference? I'm not sure. I see that this one can take metal tapes, which is interesting, although I would dare not put one in there. I'll just stick to the traditional. I've got some new old stock Sony tapes in stock, so I'll just use those. And initial impressions, just doing a quick power-up test, having a look at it, and the features. It is a behemoth. This machine weighs in at about 20 kilos, and definitely earlier generation than the later Betamaxes that came out in Japan. But nevertheless, an interesting machine that I'm going to be putting through its paces. There are a whole host of features. I don't have the remote, so I think there's some digital features I may not be getting. But I might just try and finagle another remote from somewhere else. So I just wanted to show you that one, and then chat about some of the other models of Betamaxes that are in the AVtransfers collection. Why do I have so many different types of Betamaxes? Kind of like all the different versions, and a lot of them weren't available so easily back in the day. So this is certainly one that I like, and I'm going to be doing some testing on this one quite soon. But this is a chunky machine. I mean, this is really a work of beauty. It has LEDs, 5 LEDs per side, showing you the tape transport. It's got that real sort of late 80s feel to it, where things are still kind of chunky. No surface mount capacitors inside, and whoever owned this certainly loved it, because they went to the trouble of putting a clear piece of, I suppose, vinyl wrap on it to stop it from getting scratched. And this is still on here, and very, very cool machine. So I'm going to be taking a closer look at that in a future video, but we're just going to have a look at some of the other betas in the AVtransfers collection. Here's another Betamax machine in the collection, quite a common machine. It was available in 2 models. This is the M40 SANYO, which used a slightly different version of tape head wrap to the Sony machines, in that it unwrapped the tape whenever it wound it forward or backwards, which meant the heads in these things lasted forever compared to the Betamax versions. A very basic machine, but Betamax HIFI, and also the NTSC one has 2 speeds, Beta 2 and Beta 3. So that's the NTSC version of that. Here's another version of the same machine, and this would be the PAL version. The PAL version did not have the 2-speed recording. I don't think PAL ever had a 2-speed Betamax machine for various, I guess, technical reasons. But the styling of the machine was a little bit different, because it had channels starting from number 1, whereas the American version starts from channel 2. I guess based because the American one was based on the actual VHF frequencies, whereas these were just pre-selects. So you could do simulcast, which means you could do a broadcast. You could record stereo from a radio channel in addition to the TV picture. If simulcast broadcasts were happening, where they broadcast the stereo sound on the radio and you could listen to it with your TV picture. Does it make sense? I hope it does. But I personally like the style, and I like the era where they used to put these sort of labels on here. Beta HIFI stereo sound, wide 80 dB dynamic range. I just love that. So this is just a side by side. This is the PAL version, and there's another one. Here's the NTSC version. This one's slightly different again. It has the grey backing here on the LEDs, but and also you'll see here the channels start from 2 and go up to 13, and there's actually lettering here as well. And I think you can actually pull these out. Yeah, I can remember you can actually pull these out if you wanted to. I'm not too sure what the thinking was behind that. As you can see, I'm doing a horrible job of this now. Maybe it's just gone a bit bent. But basically, you could pull that out. I guess you could perhaps put your own numbering in. So what they called simulcast on the PAL machine, which is here, SANYO, on the American machine they called it external audio in. And then you had FM and on. And I'm not too sure what the difference is on that, but obviously there's something clever which surpassed my knowledge on that one. But otherwise, much the same machine. Now I know I'm having a sort of a flip between different models of machines and different modes and systems and things, but you know, I love the Betamax machines. They just had a certain joie de vivre to them. So this is another high band beta hi-fi. This is a Sony SL-HF705, which I think was probably my very first import from Japan many years ago. Let me get my torch. So just having a look at the basic controls, you've got some very nice simple features, much like the others. Recording levels, normal and slow speed tracking. I'm not going to go too much into detail. Obviously tuner, line input, etc. But what I like about this one, unlike the PAL version of this machine, it is a lot slimmer. It's about a third shorter, so it's 2/3 the height of the HF. I think it's the 905. Hang on, I'll check the model. The PAL version of this, well, there was only one made, which was a SUPERBETA. Anyway, let's open that up. I love that. And you open that up, there you go. Unfortunately, the belts have gone a bit wonky in this one. So, not that it affects its performance, but it does need a bit of TLC. So basically it'll time out there, takes your tape in there, and it just needs belts to go. But it'll stop moaning once it goes in. A nice, very nice display. I kind of have to remind myself which machines are PAL and NTSC, because I'm a bit of a forgetful bunny sometimes. So that one, the HF705D, there we are. Here it is, the PAL version of the same machine. It's a little bit chunkier, and this is the HF950. So this is the PAL CCAM version of the same machine, again with the swing out loading tray, and again, just a really nice machine. This one in really good condition. It's got a lot more going on here in terms of features, and it's the only hi-fi, as far as I remember, it's the only hi-fi machine that has SUPERBETA in PAL and CCAM. There were no other hi-fi SUPERBETAs made in the PAL region. I did have a mono version, but I never got it to work, so I eventually just flogged it. There's only so much time I'll spend on these, and if it's working, I'll leave them be. And here's another version of a Betamax. It's a PAL version. These were available in different colors. I think red being the most sought after one. There may have been a purple or green one, but I'm sure certainly there must have been a black one, right? This is a good old gunmetal grey one. Is that gunmetal grey? Very basic machine, but a good solid performer. The C40. The C20 is quite common. The C40 is unusual in that it has, for me, the most notable feature is it has the beta noise reduction for sound, and it also is linear stereo. Not hi-fi stereo, but linear stereo. So a bit of fun. A bit of a fun model. Here's another unusual Betamax. This is a Sony multi-system Betamax machine. I forget the model number offhand. I may have to go around and have a look at it. I keep all of these machines running perfectly. They're all in good working order. One of my secrets is I don't power them up unnecessarily, and I power them up just occasionally to test them. This Betamax probably mid-80s, I'm guessing. It may well have been a Middle Eastern model. It does have 2-speed Betamax playback for NTSC, and it does all the others, PAL, CCAM, and so on. Obviously, it won't convert the signal, but it will play it back. So obviously running this through something like a multi-system VHS with a converter in it would do the honors, would do the job. So that's that version. Here's another multi-system machine, maybe slightly later model. This gives you pretty much the same features. It's just a little bit snazzier. I've seen these going for crazy money. I'm not too sure why. This I think I bought from the original owner. Unfortunately, I think its flap is lying somewhere in my loft. But again, flaps have a way of falling off on these machines. But a good fun machine as well. Here's another fun one. So this is, I believe this is a later model than the 9000. This is a high band beta hi-fi. Again, this is NTSC. What's notable about this, a couple of things. One is it has picture-in-picture, which allowed you to watch a TV program in the corner of your video. And it also has some fancy schmancy features like picture art, mosaic art, flash motion. You can zoom the picture, that kind of thing. Pretty much a gimmick feature. But the feature that I like the most, other than of course being hi-fi, is that it has Betamax 1, Beta 1. So that allows you to record at the highest speed. Now, not all the Betamax machines can record at that speed. Most of the NTSC ones can play it back, I believe. But 6 megahertz recording at Beta 1 is a big deal. Some of the Japanese ones included a satellite TV receiver as well. I'm not sure this one does, but certainly the 9000 does have that as well. So that's also a really nice machine, which I've been enjoying quite a bit. In fact, I've done some test recordings for another YouTuber on this particular machine because it just does such a nice job of them. Here's another nice Betamax. Again, this is something I think came with a military base. It's not common, and it literally is like brand new. I think I had a Zenith one like this as well I gave to someone to fix. I don't think they ever actually fixed it. But anyway, I digress. This is an SL0420. I think generally the SLOs were more industrial. To me it looks an awful lot like a C7. And I would imagine it's much the same. It's got a lot of, it's also got linear stereo, so channel 1, channel 2, beta noise reduction, beta 2, beta 3, and it obviously plays back beta 1 as well. It has the indicators, and this is like a brand new machine. It's just like, it's just one of those things you just have to collect it. I mean, it has no marks on it, nothing. It really is a really nice machine. These displays tend to fade with age, and this thing, you plug it in, it just blows you out the water with its display. Yeah, I was never really a fan of the stock standard Betamaxes, but you know, I like the more fancy ones. This is quite a common model here in the UK, SLHF 100. I had some of these years and years ago in South Africa, probably early 2000s, and at the time there was a video shop near us called Jeekins, and they actually had stock of 2 new heads, and I was able to get 2 new heads for them, and they were able to install them, which was also quite impressive because it was quite a complex installation to change Betamax heads, and I used those machines for an awful long time. But this is not that. This is just another one of the same, but a nice machine as well. Swinging over here, probably a similar generation, again a Sony. This is just an NTSC version. I'm not too sure again of the model number. I need to really look at the back of these things, don't I? But this is just a very basic domestic, I guess, beta hi-fi. It has 2 record modes. It looks like the NTSC machines all pretty much had at least 2 record modes, and the only problem with this one is its display is very faded. I must be honest, these machines are not seeing the use they used to, but I don't have the heart to just dump them or get rid of them. I think it's a curated collection. You know, at some point I probably will start reducing my number of Betamax machines, but I'd prefer to have transfer work for them, because it's a thing of beauty just to watch them. But yeah, this is probably like a C something or other. But also a nice machine. It also has the PCM plug-in, so you can use it with a digital encoder decoder, which was quite popular for a time in the 80s. Here's a bit of a holy grail of beta files, if you can call it. It's a top loader. Unfortunately, I'm kind of running out of space here. I don't even think theoretically I could get a tape in there. I probably could if I really had to. I know it's hooked in there. This is the SLO 1700. And what's nice about this machine, it has very sexy VU levels. It's just a PAL machine. It does hi-fi stereo and linear stereo. And when you do a recording on this thing, it lays down a hi-fi track that is second to none. What's nice about this, and also quite unusual, is it has, in the front here, you'll see, you can plug in a multimeter, or I suppose an oscilloscope, and look at your beta hi-fi, RF levels, your video, your pulse. You can monitor your beta hi-fi or your standard. You can add your limiter, your beta noise reduction. Really a nice machine, and that is quite a collectible one, that as well. It also has a digital readout. It was purely meant as a duplicator, so they could be looped together and controlled remotely. And also a very heavy machine. You pick that thing up, you'll know you've picked up a piece of metal. Less exciting, but not to be forgotten, the very sweet little SLF1 UB. That's basically a portable PAL machine. I think it all direct drive, if I'm not mistaken. Same mechanism as a C9. A really nice machine, and of course it has the companion PCM F1 audio digitizer. So it enables you to record digitally onto Betamax tape, and again, very low hours machines. But you know, you've got to have one of those in your collection, right? Last but not least, two other machines that I've acquired over the years. This is like my dream machine in the 2000s, and I only managed to get one about 3-4 years ago. A SUPERBETA duplicator, but this is of course NTSC, and it has that really chunky, big, sort of heavy duty sort of nature to it, but really just the same format inside as all the others. But just a nice heavy duty duplicator with a nice sort of clunky, thunky sound. And above it, pretty much the same machine, but in a different form factor. So this was branded as Pioneer, but in all intents and purposes, it is a Sony machine. And a bit more elegant with its sort of jog shuttle, it does that. But again, one of those machines that I really wanted to collect. Let's just check the model of that one. So the Sony one is a GCS 50, the duplicator, and the other one is a Pioneer VX90. Has it got a year of manufacture in there? Not too sure. But there you go. Well, there you go. Just a little walk around the studio, taking stock of some of the different machines. Probably a similar number of PAL and NTSC machines. Granted, I've only shown you one of each model, but there are multiples of each model, particularly in the PAL, where there's a lot of HF100s, a lot of SLO 1700s, I think it's a 1700, and so on. There are a couple I'm missing from the collection. I don't know how much more I want to really spend on my Betamax collection, but they really are just impressive machines. And if you do have Betamax material you'd like to transfer, we certainly have a range of machines we could transfer it from for you. So keep that in mind, and this is Howard from AVtransfers.co.uk here in Borehamwood saying ciao for now. Oh, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.